Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. In the last episode, we went over to the Tin Tower in Necrotine City and we met up with Suicune and we also caught it. And in this episode, let's say we go ahead and continue on with this journey. Back here over in Mahogany Town, and what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to head back up to the Lake of Rage. The one thing I do want to show off though is that after you clear off the Team Rocket hideout, if you go back in there, then talk to this guy here. Say he got chased by these thugs, and he'll give you this TM, so TM36, and that one contains, I believe, a Sludge Bomb, which is actually a real good poison type attack. I think poison's physical in this gen. If I'm not mistaken, actually no, I think it's special in this gen because it actually does keep its special typing and well, I mean, it's a special kind of a status in Gen 4 after the physical special split, but also gave us access to more like physical poison type attacks like Poison Jab, for instance. And so yeah, what we're gonna do now is that I'm gonna head back over to the Lake of Rage because after you clear off all the Team Rocket events, there will be trainers over in the Lake of Rage that you can actually battle. And one thing I didn't even know. I thought this was only a thing in Heart Gold until Silver because the Lake of Rage is also a place where you can actually fly to. And so, I thought this was only a thing in Heart Gold until Silver because I only remembered you can actually just fly over there. But it turns out I can also do the same thing here in this gen. So I did not know that that you could be. I didn't know that before. I completely forgot about that because I had assumed that it was only in those remakes. But yeah, I can actually fly over there. I probably could have done that, but I just kind of went the long way around. But then again, though, I did want to go through that gate just to get that TM. And so here we have this cool trainer right here who's going to be using, he's actually going to be using the middle stage evolutions of the Kanto starter. So he's basically starting out with Ivysaur, which I think we've already encountered with this. Or actually, no, we haven't. I think this might be our first encounter with Ivysaur. But yeah, not much else I could probably just say about Ivysaur because that's what we had in, back in the Gen 1 Let's Play. And then next up he has Charmeleon, which of course I think well I don't know, I can't remember exactly like what the split was like for Charmeleon itself. Okay, Charmeleon. I'm talking way too fast. I'm kind of like just mispronouncing things here, so my apologies. But yeah, I think it's so good on special attacks, and I think well I know once it knows like a bunch of those fire-based moves. And then last up is Wartortle. And so Wartortle, I would say good on the defensive sides because with the Squirtle line being based off Tortoise. All three of the Kanto starters evolve at level 16 to their middle stage evolutions. And then with the exception of Ivysaur, the others will evolve once they reach level 36. But for Ivysaur evolves to Venusaur at level 32. So that's just basically just a one trainer of interest to battle just because of those three starters. And now Mom is calling me. Let's see. Oh, by the way, what I found out is that when I went to the PC and got the items that Mom got for me, I saw there was a King's Rock in there. So it turns out that like even though naturally you would have gotten like only one King's Rock from the Slowpoke Well. Turns out there's a chance that your mom will give you a second King's Rock which she buys from the with your money, of course. So yeah, so like if you actually get stuck with this one King's Rock, if you want to have like those two Pokemon to evolve, like with Poliwhirl into Politoed and then Slowpoke into Slowking, then well once you have that second King's Rock, then well that's actually your chance to do so. So that's actually something that's real thankful. I only thought that they can only have like just one King's Rock from the Slowpoke Well after talking to that guy, but no, there's a chance that their mom will actually buy you the King's Rock. So that's actually something I'm real thankful for. If if I ever want to well, maybe just do some kind of a Pokédex completion. Alright, so most of the trainers here are just basically some fishermen. I think those guys, yeah, those two fishermen, well, the first one used, I think, 4 Magikarps. I would say 4 Magikarps, and this guy has a Gyarados. And then there should be just about one more cool trainer. There's like a female cool trainer that's supposed to be up here, so Let's see, we've already, yeah, we already talked to this guy before, so, yeah, connection to massive breakdown. Yeah, which we've already, solved this, whole thing, because, with, Team Rocket doing all this, shit. What happened to the Red Gyarados? It's gone? Oh, darn, I came here for nothing. I know, let's battle. Oh, man, she must be real pissed off at me just because I, managed to catch that, Gyarados. So here's another, trainer of interest, Cool Trainer Lois. And, she has Skip Bloom. I think this might be our first encounter with, Skip Bloom. Evolve from Hoppip. Let's see. I think it actually does at least get a little better. Like, you know, as long as you get rid of a Splash from Hoppip, then it can be a little bit worthwhile. Then I think I might have already used. Well, I remember using the Hoppip line a long time ago, but I can't remember exactly how good it was. But it should be able to learn some more decent moves later on. And then here we have Ninetales. Ninetales can be pretty much seen as a counterpart to Arcanine. At least for like version exclusives and whatnot. Oh yeah, it also has a chance of no way confuse rate, which is, you know, very much accurate once it once it's about to use it. Evolves from Vulpix, so once you give it a Firestone, it's very good. It's also pretty decent with special attacks and all that stuff. So I would say, you know, if you ever want to go kind of a Fire type, if there's no Growlithe around and there's just a Vulpix, then you know, that's definitely a good way to go with Ninetales. And so, yeah, should be done. I'm gonna talk to her because she says she's seeing a pink Butterfree. Oh, pink Butterfree, you say? Oh, yeah, definitely a nice little reference to the anime where Ash's Butterfree ends up with the pink Butterfree. Which, by the way, folks, after all those 25 years and that one of the last few episodes, and Ash finally reunites with his Butterfree, I'm sure a lot of people cried when after seeing that scene. So many fans cried just seeing that, which is actually a real good. Nice heartwarming scene there. And so what I'm doing here is that after you clear off the radio tower in Goldenrod City, this girl's grandmother will actually start to run this shop here. And so once you enter, then the Team Rocket Hideout theme will no longer play. Although you can actually still access Team Rocket Hideout anyway, and there will still be that kind of music playing. But now that Team Rocket's gone, then they basically just you know, just kind of filled in for this shop here and just made it to its own shop. And so this girl's grandmother will actually start selling you stuff. And the selection for that actually changes, so it's no longer like the small items like potions, and there's also no Slowpoke tails either. It's basically just, you know, your own run-of-the-mill average kind of items here. There's also where you can actually buy some Rage Candy Bars. So even after you get this one Rage Candy Bar from the from that man blocking the way, if you want to get like some more Rage Candy Bars, then you can actually just buy those, and you can actually just you know, buy those if you want to use like some healing effects or just restore 20 HP to your Pokemon. I think they made this into a key item in Heart Gold and Soul Silver because like, whenever you get that Rage Candy Bar, much later down the road, there's that one guy you have to get the Rage Candy Bar to, and then he gives you the TM for, Explosion, I believe, or it's probably Explosion, either one of those, self-destructing moves. Well, probably not so much like a self-destruct or anything like that, which actually Tyler was rather creepy, I gotta say, from what I remember when he did that, but yeah, in this gen, the Rage Candy Bar is actually traded as items, so you want to get, like, much more of those, then you can actually just go to that shop and buy some. Other than that, then it's basically just some regular items like you would expect from a Pokemon, so I figured I'd just go ahead and stock some items before we head over to the next town, which is what we're going to do now. And it'll be over in Blackthorn City, which is where the final gym should be. And this right here is our first encounter with Natu. Natu is a Psychic and Flying type. Pretty good with some Psychic type attacks, and not quite sure how, well, I'm sure it's pretty good with special attacks as well. But it's also kind of a good type coverage for, like, you know, with Flying and Psychic. And one thing I also forgot to mention is that the one area where you can find Natu is over in the Ruins of Valve, where you find the patches of grass, and then that's where you can actually catch some Natu. So if you want to find, if you want some kind of a good psychic and flying type coverage, then you can go for Natu. And I'd say its evolution into Xatu is pretty much well worth it. And then also in the Ruins of Alpha, the other Pokemon you can also encounter is Smeargle. Smeargle is kind of an interesting Pokemon, but not exactly all that much of a good use. It knows the move Sketch, which actually manages to copy any one of the moves that the Pokemon last used, but that's about it. It doesn't really have that much going for it, but I mean, it's kind of it's very much of a gimmicky kind of Pokemon is what it is because of what it is, you know, with its move for with the move Sketch. Alright, and so now that's done over with, so now we have access to this route as we continue onwards. Now, only in the original Gen 2, after you beat the, beat Price, you can actually still access the rest of the areas, like leaving from Mahogany Town, and you can actually still go over to Blackthorn City. But there's this one guy who'll block the path to the gym, and he won't let you in until you've after you've obtained all after you obtain the 7 badges. And so well, actually no, no, that's not right. I got the whole thing wrong. I think he just doesn't let you in until after you clear some certain events, or I think it's just basically the Team Rocket event. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. But I know in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like even after you beat Price, then you're basically stuck in Mahogany Town. You can't even leave because the guy still won't let you through until after you beat Team Rocket in the radio tower. And this cool trainer here has a Butterfree right here. Butterfree has a pretty decent move pool. Like after like at first, it'll just start with just having very few moves, like starting with Caterpie, where it would just have like a Tackle and String Shot, and then its evolution to Metapod will learn Harden. But then once it evolves to Butterfree, then Butterfree can learn some pretty decent Psychic type attacks, like Confusion for one thing, where it starts off with. So it's actually a pretty good for use right there for some good Psychic coverage. And so. Yeah, as far as the stats, I'm not so sure about that either, but it has like a 4x weakness against Rock, because, it's Bug and Flying, but Butterfree could still be a good Pokemon on its own merits because of it. And then this here is our first encounter with Blossom, which I've encountered quite a few times. It's the alternative evolution from Gloom, besides the fact that it could evolve to Vileplume. So, like, using the Leaf Stone on Gloom, that's what will evolve to Blossom, and that's when it loses its Poison type, where it becomes a pure Grass type. It knows quite a bit, or a couple of decent moves, like Solar Beam, for instance. Like, it'll definitely learn these sun-based moves, like it'll learn Sunny Day. And then it also learns Solar Beam, which by the way, folks, one thing that they do for advantage for Solar Beam is that usually Solar Beam is a 2-turn attack where it has to charge itself up with Sunlight, and then the second turn then uses the move itself. If the Pokemon uses the move Sunny Day, where the sun gets bright, it'll be able to use Solar Beam instantaneously, so it doesn't have to charge up. It can actually just be able to use Solar Beam right then and there, since it already be hard enough to be able to actually just use that. That's actually a good kind of strategy you can use if you those of you who actually would like to use Solar Beam. Even though I don't really use it that much though, because well, I mean, then again, I probably could have had that or just had that Solar Beam, but. But it's also a 2-turn attack, and I usually don't really like to take much risks. And so here we have Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn is, it's pretty tanky. Like, it has real great physical attack and special defense as well. And aside from that, it's also very, very slow. So yeah. But, other than that, it's also very much tanky as well. And especially more so, like, once it evolves to Rhydon. And then by the time Gen 4 gets its evolution in Rhyperior, which is also, from what I know, also a great Pokemon to use for its tankiness, but also its great physical defense as well. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for all that there. And I do believe there should be one more trainer, and I actually kind of just went back for it because my D-pad on my 3DS was kind of acting a little weird for some reason. And I always try to avoid using the circle pad for these games, well, especially with Pokemon games, because like since pre-Gen 6 Pokemon games would only have like 4 directions, it's always so much easier to use the D-pad as opposed to the circle pad, because like the circle pad can still be used when playing those games, but it's very, very stiff. It can also screw you over quite a number of times, and so that's why I always have to prefer using D-pad. It feels so much easier like that. So. Anyway, here we are in this new dungeon. This is the Ice Path, and the Ice Path in Crystal gets a dramatic makeover in terms of the aesthetics. Because in Gold and Silver, and also I'm speeding this up here because this is actually one of those ice lighting puzzles where I kind of get stuck with, and so I didn't really want to waste any time here. It's like some sort of ice lighting kind of physics, or with these stones there, you have to figure it out. So. Anyway, so in Gold and Silver, the Ice Path just basically looks like some generic cave dungeon. But in Crystal, they gave it just a massive overhaul, and first text where it looks a lot more icy for all these walls here and all that stuff. It actually looks real pretty to look at because of it. Yes, especially by Game Boy Color standards, like all the details and all that, it looks real amazing because of it. So yeah, basically with the ice path is that there's going to be quite a bit of isolating puzzles we'll just have to take advantage of with all these ice physics. And picking up this item ball here, this is HM07. That one contains a waterfall. And so a waterfall, like it doesn't have as much power as a surf does, but it's actually a pretty decent kind of move you can use. It has about like a 90 or 95% accuracy, so there might be a bit of chances for it to miss, but it can still be pretty usable. And I'm gonna go ahead and teach Lumo's waterfall, and it's also an HM move, so that means we actually be able to use it in the overworld. But we can't use it right now though because we need the gym badge from Blackthorn City in the gym to be able to use that move in the overworld. But that's actually where you can actually be able to scale those waterfalls that you'll be seeing in some certain dungeons. So essentially, Surf is basically no longer the only water-based HM, because like back at Gen 1, there was Surf was the only kind of a water type HM, but then starting in Gen 2, then they gave it a couple more for a water-based. So like we have a waterfall, and then there's also a whirlpool, which whirlpool is definitely without a doubt the weakest kind of water type HM that there is. But Surf and Waterfall are pretty decent itself. And then in Gen 4, with the physical special split, Waterfall becomes a physical move, which actually makes sense, though, because you're basically just, just using a Waterfall and just, headbutting on the Pokemon itself. But for some Pokemon, or Water-type Pokemon that are more good for physical attacks, then it's definitely best for using a Waterfall for them here, too. And so the Ice Path here has a couple of puzzles, for one thing, the Ice-Lighting puzzles, and also the Boulder puzzles. And so what you have to do is, as long as you have the HM move Strength, then what you have to do is you have to push these boulders over to these holes. And then by pushing them over to those holes in the ground, then it'll just they'll drop over to the floor below. So that way there, what you gotta do is that there's this big sheet of ice that's down below, but it's all just like nothing but sheets of ice, and there's not like any kind of other stones or rocks to actually stop at and to predetermine your path. So you actually have to push those boulders down, so that way there they'll create those paths for you. So that way there you can actually just be able to slide around and then stop by those boulders. So that way there you can actually just be able to predetermine the kind of path to take. So that's what you got to do first, just by sliding those around. It's kind of a big maze of that as well, so it can be a bit of a drag because we're going to see here on the video itself, the ice path can be a little bit long. I mean, it's just by going through one kind of a little path there, but it does involve a couple puzzles. So that's one you'll probably be in here for quite a while. I'd have to say. And a couple of things about it is that there's a couple of Pokemon that you'll encounter. Well, actually, quite a few Ice-type Pokemon you'll encounter. There will be Swinubs, and I think there's also Jinx. And also, the standard Golbats. And also, there's also one rare Pokemon that you can encounter. Another Pokemon called Delibird. It's basically it's a Pokemon that's based off of Santa Claus, in terms of its design. Not sure what to say about Delibird itself, but it actually does have the move called Present, which what it does is that it's very much randomized, so it has its own kind of RNG. There would be a chance where, if you use Present, it can either heal the opponent, or it can also outright damage the opponent. It's like throwing a present, here's your present, plonk. Which is actually kind of funny in a way. And I guess that's just about it for the Ice Path, is what it is. So just not much to say, but yeah, we're pretty much going to be here for quite a while, and having to use so many of those repels constantly, just having to go back in the item inventory and just by using those repels. Man, I wish I was really liking Black and White 2. We're starting with Black and White 2. We're gonna be able to use the where the prompt asks us where we want to use another repel, and then just by selecting yes, so we just have to not worry about having to go back in the bag. That's one thing, going back to those games, it just feels so weird like that. Ugh. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Because, I mean, that's just how it was like back in the day. We struggled with all that back in the day. Yeah, And so he just picked up a Carbos. So I went ahead and gave it to Daru, because since he has the lowest speed, which is kind of natural for the golems. Well, at least for most of the rock-type Pokemon, because rock-type Pokemon are very well known for their high defense, but can also be very slow. But there are also some aversions for certain rock-type Pokemons, like let's say with Lycanroc, where you know, despite its rock typing, it's very speedy as well. Which, of course, you know, Lycanroc doesn't really get introduced into like all the way until Gen 7. And then here we have a Never Melt Ice. Never Melt Ice is also one of those whole items that actually boosts the power of Ice-type attacks. So there's that there, if you wanted some, it does you have, like, some Ice-type coverage there. And I think I might just give it to Nightshade, because like, the next gym will specialize in Dragon types, and that's actually the biggest reason, the main reason why I want to teach Ice Punch to Nightshade, because as of this gen, I needed some Ice-type coverage, since that's what Dragon types are weakened by. So that's basically like the whole reason why I wanted to teach it, or just I want to teach it Ice Punch. And so, just in case, because of that, I'm planning on giving the Never Melt Ice to Nightshade, so that way there will just give itself a boost in its in Ice Punch. So that way there I can actually be able to have much more of the advantage for those Dragon types. Actually, not just that though, but there's also going to be some more Dragon types you'll probably encounter, or just have to battle, like some certain trainers that'll be using a bunch of Dragon types, and so it's probably for the best to just keep it anyway. So that's probably something I recommend to do, at least for this gen, because you know, one other flaw about this gen is that the TM selection and well, the TM variety in this gen is kind of lackluster. And then what we just picked up was TM44. That contains Rest. Okay, yeah, that contains Rest. I've already explained what Rest does, so there's not much else to explain for that. So yeah, we should be just about a little bit close to the exit. There's just like a few more rooms to go through, but there's also like a bunch of items to collect that I want to make sure that I get, especially with some stat enhancing items like the Carbos and well, basically some vitamins for Pokemon, like this one here. This right here is an iron, but we have no more room here, so yeah, I want to use that iron, so I figured just go ahead and just get rid of one of those items. I'm gonna go ahead and toss the X special, because you know, like I said, I never really find myself using the X items all that much. I mean, at least early in the game I still use those, but that's only because of, you know, since the game would sometimes suffer from early game hell. But later on, or later down the road, I never really bother with those very much, because, you know, my Pokemon have already been strong enough as it is. Especially more so in this gen, because of the low level curve, where it's just going to be a bunch of those level 20s, and my Pokemon are already at their level 30s right about now, so yeah, they're very much good to go at this point, so I don't really need those, or those items, but I especially do need that iron, just to raise the defensive stats. That's usually what I do, where like I basically just use those items based on the for whichever stats has the lowest. Like for irons, I would just give it to the Pokemon that has the lowest kind of physical defense. And for stuff like proteins and whatnot, for like any kind of items that are like physical based or special based, like proteins are good for physical attack stats, and so whichever Pokemon has the lowest physical attack, but only has moves that are considered a physical. I just those are the kind of Pokemon I would just give them protein to, depending on how much protein or how much of the physical attacks has the lowest. And so there's the exit from the ice path, and so here we are in Blackthorn City, and we talk to this girl. Wow, you came through the ice path? You must be a real hotshot trainer. Well, yeah, we sure are. Hotshot trainer just melting the ice through there, so yeah, just I gotta read the sign first. Blackthorn City, a quiet mountain retreat. So yeah, it's kind of a mountainous little town right here, and it has the same kind of music as Azalea Town, which is so nice in a way. So let's go and heal our Pokemon, and then afterwards, and I think this is where I'll go and end things off here, and you know, all that stuff. I think I'll just save it for like when we because you know after we deep forest the Indigo as a Pokemon League, I hear the best trainers gather there from around. Oh yeah, the Indigo Plateau. Yeah, that was back over to, that was in Kanto. So chances are we actually might be seeing Kanto, and she's talking about the mood deleter, which I'll actually talk about in the next episode, because I'm about to end this end Blackthorn City. Okay, so now Alan's calling me while I'm talking rude, and he's actually challenging me to a battle. So yeah, he's on Route 36. So Yeah, I actually, just so went ahead and just said about him after the video was done, because, you know, because, like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I figured I'd say about him later, and just not sure. I'll just yeah though, because you know, I've stored in the never my license piece. I actually meant to give it a nightshade. God damn it! Well, I'll just do that when I record the next episode anyway. So I'll just gotta make sure to do that. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this off here right now, because we're just back close to the end of time. So anyways, next time on Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, we are going to go ahead and explore the entirety of Blackthorn City, and then after that, then we're going to go ahead and tackle the 8th and final gym in Johto and get the last badge. So I will see you guys next time.